We're going to do something a little different this time. We're not going to make our political segment our last segment because we have a lot to talk about for our last segment, and it's
So,
going to be pretty long, so we want to save that for last. So let's go ahead and talk about the uprise and all the worker strikes that have been going on all across the country.
yes, something Trevor Noah of The Daily Show affectionately called Striketober.
Oof, God. Which the fact that it's happening is great because strikes are good.
Yes, but unfortunately, it's due to very abhorrent situations.
So the one that has popped up the most is the IATSE strike, or I believe it's the International Alliance for Theater
Uh,
Staging and Entertainment, I think it's called.
Yes, I think it's that.
Yeah. So pretty much they were threatening to go on strike because they wanted better working conditions, they wanted meal breaks, they wanted shift breaks, they wanted weekends, and they wanted higher pay. And ultimately they were planning on going on strike, but luckily enough, the because they were planning on going on strike on Monday, but
Yeah.
literally on Saturday, they managed to strike up a deal uh, with, or the union managed to strike a deal where they got everything they wanted and they did not have to go on strike.
Yeah, and mind you, if this strike went through, people, Hollywood would be crippled. Movies across the board would be delayed. Do you know how important theater stage workers are? They are incredibly important. They are the backbone of movies. They are the unsung heroes, the long lists of people that you see in the credits that you don't pay attention to. Those are the people. Those are the people that work those endless hours. If they go on strike and not work, Hollywood is crippled.
I mean, do we even have to talk about the Writers Guild strike that happened over a decade ago?
For those who don't remember, there was a Writers Guild strike over a decade ago, and because it happened, entertainment went to shit. The Simpsons, which was already starting to look bad, plummeted in quality. If you remember the show Heroes, that show went from the best thing next to sliced bread to complete gutter trash because the writers were on strike. So, yeah, and if it could affect shows in that capacity, imagine what this would affect for movies down the line. I mean, this would affect movies for the rest of the decade. So,
I mean,
it's good that they have this level of bargaining power, in my opinion, because to be able to cripple the industry that hard really goes to show that we need to appreciate these workers and give them proper conditions. Because without them, the things we enjoy don't get made.
and the only reason they have leverage is because the nature of the industry. I mean, even in the pandemic, we needed entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was stuck at home, and entertainment was really all we got. I mean, we need these people to keep us sane, to give us escape. And for that, they need to be treated properly and given proper working conditions because their previous working conditions, especially during a pandemic, were absolutely abhorrent. Especially because some of these people, like I know for the new Mission Impossible movie, they were basically the vanguard for determining whether movies could be made during a pandemic. Those people specifically that were working on the Mission Impossible film, the one where Tom Cruise infamously ranted about the fact that people weren't wearing masks, by the way, based. But yeah, these people are incredibly important. And I think it's good that they were going to go on strike. I mean, personally, I kind of wanted them to go on strike anyways, just to prove a point. But they did get what they wanted, and that's always a plus.
Overall, they just got what they wanted. They managed to exercise their power that they had as workers and managed to negotiate with the entertainment industry and just end up with a W.
Yeah, I mean, this also shows just how important unions are. People, unions are the lifeblood of workers. We need unions to protect us from the corporations and the elites that literally want to put you into slavery, wage slavery. They will run you down into the ground, they'll grind you into dust, and they expect you to come back right as rain the next day. Unions help prevent that. Unions are the ones that give you breaks. Unions are the ones that ensure that your working conditions are healthy and that you don't die. Unions are the ones that will protect you from being fired under unreasonable conditions. Unions fundamentally change how work in America and the world over goes down. And we need to ensure that unions maintain this power, if not gain more power for advocacy.
Now, before we dive too deep into the circumstances and consequences of the strike increase, I do want to point out the other ones that have been going on that are actually happening. For example, the John Deere strike that's happening. The Kellogg cereal strike is also going on.
There's the Netflix strike and the Kaiser Health strike.
Yeah, which I forget which one it is, whether it's the Kellogg's or John Deere strike happening, but it's happening in like 5 states. One of them.
I believe the John Deere one is the one that's happening in 5 states.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I believe it's based out of Illinois, but they've got like
Iowa.
or, no, it is based in Illinois, but there are 7 plants in Iowa,
That's what it
and
was.
they've got 5 in Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, the big push is really just the one thing that we really want to point out is really just how COVID has opened our eyes to the problems that are affecting the working class.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
let's face it, these were all issues, but the fact that at the beginning of the pandemic we were pushed into like a mini recession, and our economy just pretty much crashed, and we're still struggling to get out of the consequences of the pandemic, has shown like, yeah, we do not treat our workers well. Their wages have not increased at all to keep up with inflation, and so they can't keep up with things like housing, with higher education, with anything that is required to live a life above survivability.
Yeah. No, I totally agree that this was a problem before the pandemic, and the pandemic only exacerbated it. And I would also say that this is also ties into a wider issue that doesn't just affect the working class, but pretty much from the middle class downwards, the labor shortage that's going on, where we're having many people in various different sectors of jobs leaving because the working conditions are just not worth it anymore. And it's not like these are just entry level people, these are people with years worth of experience leaving the industry so they can find better work. And it's happening everywhere.
And now, like, the higher expertise jobs have all filled up. And I mean, at this point, why would someone work a retail job to get yelled at probably 3 Karens a day than just to get unemployment? Because why put in that extra work? And conservatives will probably go into, oh, that's people being entitled, people wanting to be lazy and having the government sustain them. But it's not that. It's more of an issue of why is the wage so low that unemployment is comparable to the minimum wage and is worth it for people to
And
live off of that rather than minimum wage.
and what's even crazier about that is that our unemployment isn't really that good. It could be far better.
Yeah,
And that really is saying something because
because
living on unemployment isn't easy either. It's very difficult, it's stressful, it's painstaking to live off of unemployment. But the fact that people are seeing that as a better alternative to working shows just how bad working conditions are nowadays.
because mind you, if people worked, let's just say $15 an hour is the set new minimum wage, and unemployment does not move, why would people stay on minimum wage?
Yeah.
Like, retail jobs would fill up. People would be in much better moods, and uh, pe- people will be able to afford more. But you do have the upper class saying like, "Oh, but that means my dollar will be worth less overall." Good.
It's
The
like,
wealth gap is big enough as is.
yeah. And the problem that I really have with all the people that complain about all of this and say that people are being entitled is that in the long term, under capitalism, the rich would end up becoming richer under that.
They
Like I feel like even the people that are rich are literally leaving money on the table with this. If people have better wages and better working conditions, that means they work harder and that means they have more disposable income. When they have more disposable income, that means they pay for more things, meaning you will make more money. Because what is better? Five people with five people only getting $5 so they can only buy your product once a month, or 10 people getting $20 and they buy your product 3 times a month. It's, I mean, even for the rich and powerful, you only gain money from this. Yet, people oppose this because, well, there's a lot of contempt for the working class and for the poor. And yeah, another thing I do want to bring up is when we say working class, we don't just mean like the
miners.
blue collar miner. Working class means retail workers, fast food drivers, salespeople, basically anyone that doesn't work in any type of like blue collar, white collar institution really ends up working class nowadays.
And the reason we have to bring it up at all and distinguish that is because the working class is an easy conservative dog whistle for, oh, the miners working over in what's a mining state?
West Virginia.
West Virginia, yeah.
And by minors, they just mean white people, which isn't really accurate anymore. The majority of the working class in America nowadays are black and brown women working service jobs, or they're working what's the name of the job that like say a nurse would do? Like not like a nurse in a hospital, but like someone that like helps people in their homes, like assisted living. What's the name of that field?
Uh,
Hospitality.
there we go.
Yeah, it's mainly people working retail or hospitality jobs. That's the working class in America nowadays. These are the people that really need help, but all workers need help. But I do want to make the distinction that when we mean worker class, we don't just mean the dog whistle white people in mines. We mean everyone. The white people in mines, the brown and black people working hospitality, everyone that works in an Amazon sweatshop, anybody that works in retail, sales, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. I know this is a bit of a stretch, but these are pretty much the consequences of the Reagan admin and their massive tax cuts.
Oh, it's not even a stretch. It's objectively true. Reaganomics literally screwed us over.
And how long did we have to wait for a sitting president to reject Reaganomics? Literally this year with Biden?
Yeah, I think he was. I mean, Hillary Clinton was one of the first mainstream politicians to publicly say to the country that Reaganomics didn't work, but Joe Biden is the first president to acknowledge it.
And that's the point, because he has all of the power. Like, he is literally right now the the second most powerful man in the world, right behind the real president of the United States, Donald Trump. Jokes. I hope you all know that's a joke.
I was about to say, we all know the real most powerful man in America is Joe Manchin. Literally holding our Senate hostage still as he profits off of coal lobbies. The same coal lobbies that are currently hammering the coal miners that they claim to care about. The ones that need unionization so that their working conditions are actually safe and that they don't die of black lung. Jesus Christ.
Do you remember that one, what's it called? That one coal company owner, the one that John Oliver made fun of?
Oh yeah, the guy that they said get fucked?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know that he actually died of black lung?
Good! Fuck him! That's karmic punishment that didn't come soon enough. But I do have a question though. How did he get black lung? He's rich. What the hell is he doing in a coal mine to get black lung? You're a millionaire. Why are you even there? Either way, get fucked, and I hope you rot in hell.
Oh yeah, Bob Murray. That was it.
Yeah, eat shit, Bob. Rest in piss, rot in hell. Fuck you.
What were we talking about again? Oh yeah,
Striketober.
strikes. We were talking about strikes. Overall, it's um, just a consequence of how people in power just do not know how to handle our economy and don't know how to help the working class.
No, 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 no. Not that they don't know. They are completely unwilling. They know how to fix this. They have known how to fix this for decades. It is an unwillingness to help that is the culprit, which is far more insidious. Because they know. They would be stupid not to know. And I don't think this happened because people are stupid.
Yeah.
This happened because people are malicious and they don't care for the working class and for the average American, as they're nothing more than pawns on a chessboard for them to checkmate each other in the jockeying for global power, pretty much. So, overall, the strikes are based, they need to continue, and we as a populace need to support the strikers. We need to support strikers, and also, if you are a worker, join a union. Join your local union for whichever industry you're in. Show support for these industries show support for the unions that are protecting you from the harms that these industries want to hold you down on. I mean, remember earlier this year with Amazon? Amazon fought tooth and nail to stop unionization because they knew that if their workers unionized, they would ask to be treated better.
And all for what? So Jeff Bezos can win a measuring contest with Elon Musk.
Just so Jeff Bezos can literally die with the most amount of money ever so no one can surpass him. I mean, fuck Jeff Bezos. Honestly. Why do, like, if you're a Bezos simp, you need to get help. You really need to get help. I'm sorry. We shouldn't be propping up Bezos. But also, if you're an Elon Musk simp, you also need to get help. Because that man literally got rich off of blood diamond money. Not blood diamond. It was like emeralds or something. Either way,
Now here's the big question.
he's evil.
Here's the big question. Which simp is worse?
Considering that Bezos simps just straight up don't exist, I'd have to say the Elon Musk simps, especially because they think of him like he's some type of Tony Stark. Elon Musk isn't in labs, people. He isn't out there developing the next Iron Man suit. Elon Musk is literally just sitting there talking with his son of unknown name and shoving away his quote unquote socialist girlfriend.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that Grimes is any better, but Elon Musk is worse.
and all of that while still wearing a Wario costume.
What?
Remember in SNL, he wore a Wario costume.
See, I don't pay attention to really anything he does in pop culture because he's a piece of shit. But that explains Comrade Waluigi on Twitter. Rest in peace, not really, he's a tanky, but still.
But before we wrap up this segment on strikes, I do want to touch on specifically the Kaiser Health strikes.
Yeah.
Because overall, of all the strikes happening, they are at most risk. Because because for context, the Kaiser Health, I forget the name of the company as a whole, but it's
Kaiser Permanente, I believe.
That is it. Yes, they are hospitals based in California and Oregon, which a bunch of workers left because they're out there fighting COVID, and I wouldn't blame them for honestly leaving because
they're not being protected.
They're not being protected at all, and it's extremely unsafe. They could be bringing COVID to their families.
Which, it's not that they could, they are, and then being expected to return to work.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there are people who are working there who then have to go, but not because of work, but because they need help with COVID.
Yeah. And the worst part is that they were trying to pass a policy internally that would make it so new hires get paid less and have less protections. These are people that would be saving lives. We're already in a huge shortage of medical personnel due to COVID. And these fucks want to make it so that the next set of medical workers are lined up to die faster. What do you really accomplish? You make money in the short term, but guess what? Your slave workforce is dead. And guess what? Because the slave workforce was working to stop a pandemic that kills anyone, it's not like you'll have an easy time replenishing said workforce because the replenishers are dead. So, Kaiser Health, you're fucking stupid. Protect your workers. They are literally the people that are stopping us from complete and total obliteration. Get your shit together.
And what's worse is now we're living in a reality where COVID affects children now.
I mean, COVID always has the potential to affect children, but now it is most assuredly will affect children.
Yeah, which I'm not even sure if conservatives have walked back that talking point at this point.
About that kids can't catch COVID?
Yeah.
Oh no, they haven't.
I mean, they're still wanting kids to be in person still.
I mean, I told you about the wars that are taking place at school board meetings between anti-mask, anti-vax parents and school board members that want to have mask mandates.
Honestly, I just had to stop watching those. Those did not feel real at all, and just made my hope for humanity just lessen watching them.
It's incredibly sad. I told you about the one woman who I believe is running for school board who got doxxed for supporting a mask mandate. Not only was she doxxed, she had DHS called on her to have her child removed for quote unquote abuse.
Yeah, thanks Tucker Carlson for that.
I mean,
because you remember the segment where he's like, if you see someone with a child wearing a mask, call Child Protective Services because that is child abuse. Oh,
yeah, the hogs are out in full force, and dear God. And also, here's the obligatory fuck you, Tucker Carlson. Because Tucker Carlson is a gigantic piece of shit who does not care about anyone but the billionaires that he simps for.